estamos en el templo de Puerta Esmeralda.
Ya subí y bajé con lluvias.
Me intentaron timar y estoy mosqueado. Uy, mi cabeza. José. Mira aquí, aquí vacilando hacia el trip.
En el templo de Bayón.
Estamos en el Tonle Sap Lake. Para que está bonito el sitio. Esto sí es una concentración de motos.
Venga, cruza. Primero. Estamos en el canto de Cat Ride.
Pues,
No sabes hablar bien alemán. Cat Ride.
la parte que nadie ve de los viajes, las palizas de Guau. Hoy estamos en Phuket. ¡Oh! En medio de la nada, a Hoi An. Pues esto es Hanoi. Que se note la estatura media. Y ni un toque, ni un accidente. ¿Qué hay que hacer para sacar una buena foto?
Está briñada en que guarde aquí.
Esto es todo así. Todo. Aquí, mi amigo el cerdo viene.
Está llenándote.
De estiércol.
Sí, ¿no? Esto es para moler el arroz. Vamos a ver si los paisajes merecen la pena.
Y yo me estoy viendo aquí que colabora me parece de la jungla de Francia, porque yo... Precioso, vale la pena ver.
How much? No, no.
La pura sorpresa.
De lo que yo siempre digo, es torpe.
Flipe, ¿no? Impresionante.
Habla, maldita.
Canta como los vietnamitas.
Se cayó un mito ayer.
Una cabra montesa allá arriba.
A ver, danos una lección de cómo comer comida vietnamita.
¿Palillo?
Spring roll, rollitos de primavera, estilo Saigon. Lo que tienes ahí es
Pollo. Con
pollo
chile.
y lemongrass.
Pica un poquito.
Arroz que no falte.
Y lo tuyo, nugget.
Y lo mío es noodle, que estamos ya de los noodles hasta las narices. Pues después de meses ya va aprendiendo uno con los palillitos, pero en realidad esto es
Exacto. Así es como es el té.
coger el arroz, noodle, lo meten aquí, el spring roll, lo mojan y lo meten aquí. Y para adentro.
Y todo esto hay que hacerlo teniendo precaución de que los mosquitos no caigan sobre tu
No,
comida.
estamos comiendo más mosquitos que otra cosa.
Sí, sí, sí.
Pero como diría Torrente, sustancia, sustancia.
No por nosotros. En Asia, donde Corazón.
Bueno, ahora parece un culo.
Bangkok is an interesting city, extremely tourist-friendly and a convenient hub for travelling throughout Southeast Asia. It's reasonably modern while at the same time influenced somewhat by Thailand's unique culture, a culture which incidentally demands that visitors are treated respectfully. Although Thais have a natural tendency to be reserved, they're generally both honest and friendly. And thanks to its climate, Bangkok attracts visitors throughout the year. The Grand Palace, considered unique among major world tourist sites, is very popular. As it incorporates Wat Phra Kaew, Thailand's most important temple, visitors are expected to dress modestly. When necessary, extra clothing is provided. Etiquette further demands that hats and shoes are removed before entering the Wat itself to see the revered Emerald Buddha, surprisingly small and dressed according to the season. The first part of the palace complex dates from 1782, while the second part is influenced somewhat by 19th century European architecture. Wat Po, situated behind the Grand Palace, is also very popular with tourists. Famous for its large reclining Buddha and massage school, it's the final resting place of Thailand's very first king. Across the river is the impressive Wat Arun, Temple of the Dawn of Thailand, decorated with broken pieces of pottery used as ballast by cargo ships from China. River views await those with the energy necessary to climb the main stupa. A head for heights is also an advantage. Another attraction giving an impressive 360-degree view over Bangkok, emphasising the flatness of the land, is the Golden Mountain. While nearby, the iconic giant swing is situated outside Wat Sutat, arguably one of the best temples in Bangkok. Wat Indra Wahan, the temple of the tall Buddha, which is situated about a kilometre from the Khao San Road, also attracts many tourists. It's said that freeing the birds here will bring you good luck. A ticket to the Grand Palace incorporates entry to both the neoclassically styled Ananda Samakam throne hall and the Vimnamek Mansion, the world's largest teakwood structure, which gives an insight into how Thailand's influential King Chulalongkorn lived at the beginning of the 20th century. The reasonably priced zoological gardens are situated close by and offer a pleasant interlude away from the bustle of the city. For the more cultured, visiting the National Gallery and National Museum gives an opportunity to appreciate at close quarters a few of the beautiful craft rarely seen on the river. Former silk magnate Jim Thompson's house is close to many of the main shopping malls and worth a visit. Jim unfortunately went missing in 1967 while in Malaysia. It's speculated he was eaten by a tiger, but nobody really knows. For those who like shopping, Bangkok offers an opportunity to indulge. There are many well-appointed malls, especially in the vicinity of Siam Square, an area with extensive elevated walkways and well served by the SkyTrain. It's where many visitors spend their first day while acclimatising. Chatuchak, which operates at weekends, is one of the many markets in Bangkok and claims to be one of the biggest in the world, receiving more than 200,000 visitors. It's easily reached by public transport. Go with an open mind and enjoy the experience. And for even more bargains, visit Sampang Lane in Chinatown. It's narrow, it's crowded, it's hot, it's very reasonably priced. And while in Chinatown, there are some temples worth visiting, and of course, many Chinese restaurants. For those interested in cuisine, Thai cooking classes are popular, catering for both individuals and groups. For those interested in relaxation, the chance to visit one of the many massage establishments throughout the city should not be overlooked. The Khao San Road area, crammed with bars, restaurants and street vendors, has been popular with backpackers for many years. Although having crept slightly off the market recently, it's retained its atmosphere. A visit, especially during the evening, is considered by most to be an enjoyable experience. There is, of course, a wide range of evening entertainment in Bangkok. Shows and dinner cruises on the Chao Phraya River are popular with many tourists, as is Thai boxing. Local tourist agencies and representatives are usually the best source of information and can help with booking. They're also able to help with the many excursions on offer, such as a visit to Ayutthaya, Thailand's capital until sacked by the Burmese, and which boasts some impressive ruins, which optionally can be seen from the comfort of a horse-drawn carriage, while elephant rides give a different perspective. Another popular excursion is to the bridge over the River Kwai at Kanchanaburi. Trains still use the bridge, so walking over it should be done with care. The well-maintained cemetery is somewhat sombre, while the Jeet Museum and Thailand-Burma Railway Centre give an insight into the conditions experienced during the construction of the railway. There are several floating markets around Bangkok, some more touristy than others. This one at Amphoe operates at weekends and is particularly popular with Thais. Lopburi is another former capital. It boasts a number of monuments, but most people visit to see the monkeys which inhabit the town. Independent travellers will find getting around Bangkok relatively easy. The SkyTrain and Metro is the environment in which to travel and are often the best option at peak times when road transport slows considerably. Tuk-tuks, used frequently by the locals, offer a novel way to get around. Always ensure the price and destination are agreed and understood before boarding. A surprisingly cost-effective alternative to the tuk-tuk is the taxi, and there are many of them. They're clean, air-conditioned, and give a less restricted view. It's a legal requirement that the meter is switched on, and passengers are expected to pay any road tolls. Motorcycle taxis are often used to travel shorter distances, though not all travel insurance policies cover this convenient option. Buses are the cheapest form of transport, but slightly challenging for tourists given the staff, with very few exceptions, speak only local languages, and signs displayed are usually in Thai. Finally, a useful form of transport not to be overlooked are the river taxis. They connect with the SkyTrain at Sapan Taksin and take passengers close to most major tourist sites. Accommodation in the city is plentiful and wide-ranging. Several hotels, including the Peninsula and Mandarin Oriental, rank among the very best in the world, while those wishing for something a little less luxurious are extremely well catered for. Visitors to Bangkok may wish to view the other videos on this YouTube channel, as they contain helpful information.
When a friend asked me to join him on a trip through northern Laos on enduro bikes, I didn't even know where Laos was. So when we left Frankfurt for Luang Prabang, we had no idea what a great adventure was waiting for us.
Bye girls!
พวกเขามีความยินดีที่จะรับใส่ทานและขอขอบใจที่ท่านเลือกใช้บริการของการบินลาว Ladies and gentlemen, we are beginning our descent to Luang Prabang International Airport.
Beautiful Luang Prabang at the confluence of the Nam Khan and Mekong rivers has a nice French colonial charm and used to be the royal capital until the communist takeover in 1975. The city is well known for its numerous Buddhist temples and its historic town center, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. At the top of Mount Pusi is the Golden Temple of Wat Khom Si, And the Lao believe that if you set a bird free, you will enjoy good luck on your trip. Charlie's Off-Road Laos Adventures is a business run by off-road enthusiasts who love their country and who offer guided tours on enduro bikes. Our tour guide was Guy, a former Lao and English school teacher who wasn't only a good rider but also a fantastic cook, and with his Lao background and extensive knowledge of this country and its history, culture and people, he provided a perfect link between us and the local people. We started our trip by crossing the Mekong River and then headed for the mountains. It was dry season and the slashing and burning of crops and rice had just started, but there were still some river crossings where you could get your feet wet. The bikes were modern 250cc 4-stroke Hondas, just perfect for these road conditions with sometimes over 200 kilometers on bumpy dirt tracks.
Stop, stop, stop!
It was a rough ride in these conditions, so we had to get some welding done every other day when a tail frame broke. But even in very rural areas, you can always find a small roadside repair shop. Every day we would stop in a small village where Guy would ask the locals to use their kitchens to prepare a delicious meal using whatever the fridge or the garden had to offer.
Ginger, garlic, onion.
Don't forget the chili. Yeah, don't forget the chili. Lots of chili.
Yes.
From the look on the children's faces, one could tell that they don't get to see many Falang on enduro bikes. Gee, these were the best scrambled eggs I ever had in my life. And there was always some sticky rice to share, a very typical part of any Lao meal.
They grow rice, okay, and they make money from some corn or hops.
The places we stayed at for the night varied from small homestays with 6 or so rooms to bigger hotels in more populated areas. We loved strolling around the local markets and tried some of the local food, which is sometimes very special. Did you ever have spicy grilled bullfrog for breakfast?
The guy's going to show us how to eat bullfrogs.
But you eat them all, or just some parts?
Some part.
Chili inside? Ja, da sind Gewürze drin.
When they cook, they put chili inside.
Das ist ja kein Frosch, das ist eine Kröte.
Enough for you, Frank?
Yeah, I have enough.
The towns and villages varied enormously, from having concrete buildings with wonderful woodwork to simple bamboo huts. The Lao are constantly working and building and cleaning and above all, constructing new and better roads to enable the country to adapt to the ever-increasing traffic and tourism of their developing economy. Laos' color in the dry season is yellowish ochre, just like the roads, the dust we were eating, and the omnipresent Lao beer crates and banners. The next day we had to cross the Mekong once more, this time on a smaller and more improvised ferry boat. After having passed the Golden Triangle, defined by the confluence of the Mekong and Ruak rivers and where Laos, Myanmar and Thailand's borders meet, we drove north along the amazing Mekong River, always looking over to Burma, or Myanmar as it is called today. The days were filled with spectacular views, meeting nice people, riding in challenging conditions, some repairing of the bikes and enjoying Guy's spicy and delicious cooking. Riding fast on these sandy roads was a lot of fun, but one should never forget that even if there's not much traffic, it's still a two-way traffic system. Within seconds, the road surface can change from dry dust to slippery clay, and you always have to watch out for cows, water buffaloes, chickens, dogs, and multitudes of kids playing on the road or on their way to school. The people in Laos are used to riding their small scooters in any kind of bad road condition. This makes them great off-road riders. They just go for it with a smile on their face. This guy obviously had much less trouble getting through here than some of us had.
Andi, so geht das.
The Lao cook over wood or charcoal. They might make a wood fire on the ground in the middle of some stones that balance a cooking pot. Often you will find small restaurants or shops that sell consumer products like soft drinks or potato chips. The men go hunting by night, so here we had a delicious lunch with deer, dried pig's tongue and fermented root, and, needless to say, sticky rice. Michael! We felt very welcome by the people, hundreds of kids playing at the roadside on our dirt bikes. Except for the rest day in Luang Nanta, we covered distances of some 120 to 200 kilometers a day on sandy dirt trails in the mountains. The short tarmac bits were in great shape and fun to ride on. Some days we would spend 8 to 10 hours on the bikes enjoying the landscape. Here in the mountains, with dozens of different tribes and animistic beliefs, tradition is very important. Some villages are built high on mountain ridges and the people have to walk for hours to get fresh water. Some 150 ethnic subgroups within 50 primary ethnicities are officially recognized. We brought footballs, colored pencils and paper with us to offer to the village kids in local schools.
You tell him that he should get...
Subsistence agriculture accounts for half of the GDP and provides 80% of all employment. Rice is the main crop, which is grown during the rainy season. Over 70% of Lao farming households are self-sufficient in rice.
What are you looking for the soup?
This lady with her roadside kitchen and one plastic table was even running a takeaway food business, and while Guy was preparing another meal with fresh herbs from the garden, she sold her tasty and fresh food in plastic bags to people passing by on their scooters.
But then you get all the money. Yeah, you get all.
Buddhism is the main religion in Laos and is often closely tied to more traditional animistic beliefs. Every town has beautiful temples, and monks of all ages in their saffron yellow robes are to be seen everywhere. What's guys?
Maybe we go to the next one.
On our way north towards the Chinese border, we noticed how the people and their villages changed. I especially loved it when we stopped at the local school to meet the kids and drop off a football. The teachers were happy to see Guy taking over as a teacher and showing the kids how to do magic tricks. He would let them read the Lao and English alphabets out loud, and then they would sing kids songs like the Rabbit song.
Ah!
Ej, prøv at dybe det der. Ej, prøv at tænke det.
Lutiu, numa de suire. Numa de uma sua, Gusu.
Bye bye.
Big section and then right, and you keep on the left, it's about 20.
Not only was riding on the dirt tracks great fun, but riding the tarmac roads wasn't any less fun. It sometimes felt just like racing on a supermotard track. For a biker used to European traffic conditions and regulations, this truly is motorcycle heaven. Climbing into mountains, passing villages, and every now and then crossing a river, we got closer to the Chinese and Vietnamese frontiers. The hotels tried to meet Western standards, but compared to the bamboo huts that we could see from our hotel rooms in the morning mist, it felt like staying in a palace. The next morning, we had a typical breakfast with noodle soup and then had a look at another local market. With all the smells and vibrant colors, this was always a feast for the senses. When walking over these food markets, one gets the impression that there's almost no thing on earth that cannot be eaten or used for cooking. The Lao were extremely kind, friendly and welcoming. As we drove by, people would enthusiastically wave and yell "Sabaidi" to us. In some villages you could tell that the people were not used to seeing Europeans at all. Sometimes it took us a few minutes to convince the kids that we meant no harm, but only wanted to give them a football to play with. I have to admit that I am really not what you would call a soccer enthusiast, but I once more understood that kicking soccer ball is like the universal language that is spoken worldwide. On our way back, heading south, we passed the beautiful karst and limestone mountains near Nong Khiao. Luang Prabang was only a day's ride away. Nong Khiao is a sleepy little village on the banks of the river Nam U. Ecotourism offices offer trekking, cycling and kayaking around these beautiful limestone mountains. It is hard to beat just standing on the bridge and gazing at the river. Riding alongside the Nam U, we could feel that the end of this amazing trip was closing in, so we took the chance and had a bath to wash off the dust. Riding over the old bridge in Luang Prabang in the light of the setting sun, I felt really sad that this fantastic week was soon to be over. Charlie was waiting for us, happy that no one got hurt and waiting to hear our stories, which we told him excitedly over a cold beer lao.
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ